Joining us now is Paul's twin brother, David Whelan. David, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
Absolutely. So this is the first video you've seen of your brother in years. What goes through your heart and your mind as you watch? And do you think it authentically portrays his situation?
It was great to see him. I mean, you wonder, I think we've all had phone calls with people and they say they're fine, things are fine, and you don't really know. So even though the video is from the end of May of this year, it's good to see how he looks. It's good to see the strength in his the way he stares down the Russian propaganda video cameras. I mean, it was really good to see him from that. I don't think it's an accurate portrayal of what goes on in the camp. I think they did a bit of sprucing up and made sure that everybody, was acting well. That footage of him sitting at the sewing machine, he was surprised. He had been coerced by the prison to participate in an interview, and he refused to do it. And so when the interviewer had shown up that day, that was a surprise to Paul.
Wow. And that was one part of the video I wanted to ask you about, was when Paul spoke out and said he could not participate in the interview. Let's listen quickly.
So you understand when I say that I can't do an interview, which means I can't answer any question. Well, just a moment.
It's not an interview. I think that's just a clap.
If you're asking me questions, well, that's an interview.
So what is your response to that? Do you think there was a fear of retaliation?
Oh, there wasn't. It wasn't a question of being a fear. Paul was retaliated against as soon as the interview and the camera crew left the prison. The next day or the day after, prison staff, a deputy warden, and someone else went into the property room where prisoners' personal property is kept, pulled out all of Paul's, strew the letters that he kept from people who've written to him, strew those on the floor and walked all over them with their muddy boots. They stole pieces of clothing that he had stored in his personal possession. So for sure he was retaliated against for not participating. But I was glad to see him give a little bit of lip to the interviewer.
Well, he certainly has spirit and strength. Why do you think Russia released this video of Paul? Is this a setup, do you think, for a potential prisoner swap?
You know, I've been wondering that myself. The interview was done in English, so it was obviously for a Western audience. It has not been shown on Russian TV, so Paul has not actually seen it yet. So I'm not sure why they released it. They have a bit of a narrative going on right now with Americans spying in Russia. They've arrested Mr. Gershkovich in March, and then they arrested a Russian citizen who used to work for the U.S. Embassy, and he has just been charged with espionage as well. And that happened to be the same day that this video came out. So I'm guessing that it could be part of that. It also just could be, throwing out the trash, because it was really a terrible piece of propaganda.
So your brother was not part of the deal that got Brittany Griner returned to the U.S., but the White House this week continuing to say that securing Paul's release is a priority. We'll listen quickly.
But it was reassuring to see that he remains, and this is to use his brother's words, unbowed. Paul continues to show tremendous courage. That does not change that his circumstances are truly unacceptable, and we will continue to be very clear about that. Russia should release him immediately.
So do you think the government is doing enough? And if not, what should be done differently?
Well, I think the government we really need to worry about is the Kremlin. Unfortunately, until they are willing to come to the table and make a concession and take something for Paul, Paul will remain in Mordovia. And I think that's what we saw with Ms. Griner, is that the Kremlin was willing to release Ms. Griner and they weren't willing to release Paul. And so that's why, that exchange happened. So until the Kremlin really comes to the table and the U.S. is able to give them a concession that they want, Paul's going to remain where he is.
So I wanted to ask you about Wall Street Journal reporter Evangerskov, who's also being detained in Russia, as you know. His trial date continues to be pushed back. Are you concerned he could potentially face the same fate as your brother, being locked up in a Russian prison for years?
I mean, I think there's always the faint hope that that won't happen, but I don't think that there's any reason to believe that he will have any different fate from what happened to Paul. His case is proceeding along the same lines as Paul's did.
And how often have you or your family members talked to Paul since his imprisonment? What has he said? How is he holding up?
For the most part, since September of 2020, he's been able to speak to our parents for 15-minute phone calls pretty much every day. Sometimes the prison staff won't let him make those phone calls, but for the most part, that's how we interact with him. And he sounds strong, and I think he was pleased to see that his reaction to the interviewer came across in the video, and I think that he is doing as well as he can. It's hard right now. They don't have enough material to work on in the sewing factory. So not only is he sitting in a factory, he is sitting there doing nothing all day. You're not allowed to read a book or doing anything else at your sewing machine. The food has gotten less since the war with Ukraine and sanctions. So I mean, it's a tough life, and it's difficult to see him there every day. Hopefully, the U.S. government and the Kremlin will be able to work something out.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.